Back live now on the Las Vegas Strip, and just down the street from me, the site of one of the largest crime scenes in U.S. history. 59 people now confirmed dead, more than 500 hurt, and people all across Las Vegas really reaching out to help. In fact, today we've seen long lines outside of blood donation centers across the city. People who want to help in any way they can, lining up for hours to give blood in the wake of the Las Vegas shooting. The Clark County Sheriff's Department has been urging those around the city to volunteer and step forward.
All right, thanks, Steve. And we're going to have much more on the Las Vegas shooting coming up on our next half hour, including some of the heroes who took action to help the victims in the minutes and hours after it all unfolded.
But there were people just 10, 15 feet from us that didn't leave.
The worst mass shooting in American history, leaving blood on the Las Vegas Strip. It's been 18 hours now since a man shot at thousands of concert goers under the bright casino lights, but we are still so far from so many answers. What we do know, 59 people are now dead in the massacre at that country music festival. Thanks for staying with us on this special edition of The Now Arizona.
More than 500 people are injured, tourists and citizens of Las Vegas alike. They are getting treated at several hospitals right now, or they're trying to get in touch with their loved ones. We have team coverage live from Las Vegas tonight. Steve Irvin is joining us now from the Las Vegas Strip. Steve.
And the investigation into why certainly continues right here. As you can imagine, a huge crime scene just down the street from me. It's just behind the Tropicana Hotel, sort of kitty corner from where we're standing. This is as close as we get right now because police have obviously blocked off that entire area as they continue to process this. Actually, 4 scenes that we're talking about here. There's the room where this gentleman was staying, as well as his homes in Mesquite, Nevada, and a home in Reno, Nevada, where they found additional caches of weapons, tannerite, which is an explosive, as well as ammonium nitrate, that's a fertilizer. And so this investigation is going to play out for some time. Meantime, so many victims and so many people hoping and praying that many will survive. The wife of a Salt River police officer is among them. She was just one of the people at last night's deadly shooting. Tonight we're learning that off-duty officer and his wife were at the Route 91 Harvest Festival, and we are told she is fighting for her life right now in the hospital. A GoFundMe account was set up for her family. We've also learned at least one name of one of the victims. The first is 29-year-old Sonny Melton. He's a registered nurse who lives in Tennessee. You can see a picture of him with his wife. She says he shielded her from the gunfire and saved her life. No doubt we'll learn more names, of course, see more faces in the coming days. Meantime, a sorority at the University of Arizona still trying to find one of their sisters. Sigma Kappa posting this picture of Cristiana Duarte on Instagram. They say she was last seen at the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival, and of course they're asking for any information and to please keep her and her loved ones in their thoughts and prayers as well. Now, so many people, of course, running away from the scene, but many of our heroes, police officers and others, running toward it. ABC 15's Melissa Blasius talked to an Army reservist who did what he was trained to do.
That's right, Steve. Right now I'm at St. Rose Dominican Hospital in Henderson. That's a suburb here in Las Vegas, one of several hospitals across the area that are treating the injured today. And there were so many people injured. It's unimaginable, even to people who have training in dealing with mass casualty incidents. That includes Colin Donahue. He is a captain in the Army Reserves, and in fact, he had just returned from Iraq several weeks ago, trying to enjoy a bit of fun now by going to this concert over the weekend with friends. Then he says that he saw someone just feet from him being shot. Instead of getting up and running away, he made the decision to stay. Then he and a friend who is a nurse started to go to work triaging the people laying on the ground, and it was a grim task as dozens could not be saved.
Check, okay, no breathing, heart stopped, next person. No breathing, heart stopped, next person, okay. And then people were moving. They were doing C-spine, and yeah, it wasn't cool.
you can see how deeply affected Colin was, saying that he was just lucky and that's how he made it out of there. He says he did stay for an hour though as they were triaging people, and then the ones that could be saved, they actually loaded them on pieces of metal fencing and used those as stretchers to carry the injured away to cars or ambulances or whatever could take them to the local hospitals. Steve?
Yeah, that's what we're hearing. Just the randomness of this. 22,000 people in that crowd, and some survived, some did not, in what appeared to be just a random shooting. Now, some of the marquees that you can see on some of the hotels in these parts already, normally promoting shows and activities today, they are putting up phone numbers and asking people to give blood. In fact, first responders and doctors and more doing their part to save victims and solve the mystery that started this tragedy. But the people of Las Vegas are taking action as well, trying to help this community recover. We saw lines for blood donations wrapped around one United Blood Services locations. People there saying it's a 6-hour wait to give blood today. And the owner of a pizzeria there firing up the ovens, asking for people to drive pies across the valley to hospitals, blood banks, and areas of refuge so that somebody can have a hot meal. Of course, we've seen it too many times before. People reaching out on social media, trying to check on loved ones and to offer help where they can. This is happening right now on Facebook. People checking in to make sure their friends know they're safe. And if they went to that tragic concert, others are offering a couch to sleep on, a place to charge their phone, maybe a ride home, just no matter how far. This is a city that is known for its hospitality, certainly a much different kind of hospitality today. People just trying to reach out and help and do what they can to help the victims, their families, and anybody who's experienced the trauma of this tragedy.
Yeah, so many stories of bravery and heroism as well as tragedy. Steve, thank you. Meantime, Americans are in shock today as they learn even more about a massacre in Las Vegas. Again, at least 59 people now confirmed dead, more than 500 hurt.
It comes after a vicious attack on country music fans attending an outdoor festival near the Strip. The tragedy now the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history. The Now's Chris Welch is live on the Vegas Strip for us tonight. And Chris Welch has set the scene for us a little bit, but I'm also wondering about this woman who's been identified as the girlfriend or possibly companion of the shooter. What do we know about her?
Yeah, well, at this point, investigators, it seems, don't know a whole lot, so they're not relaying a whole lot to the public. We do know that early this morning, she was considered a person of interest. They were trying to get a hold of her, but as the hours went on, they had sort of revised that. They said they had gotten a hold of her. She's overseas. When she comes back, they do plan to talk to her, but after speaking to her over the phone, that initial contact, that she did not seem to be, they didn't continue to consider her a person of interest. In terms of where we are here, setting the scene for you, just take a look behind us. Things obviously a lot calmer than they were last night. This is really the epicenter of where this all went down last night. Where we're standing, people were running for their lives last night, running in front of the Tropicana Hotel where we're staying. There were people who ran in there to try and seek shelter. This music venue, 22,000 people were enjoying Jason Aldean music last night, country music festival, when shots were fired from across Las Vegas Boulevard. Now, if you look at the Mandalay Bay Hotel across the street, you can still see those windows where this 64-year-old man punctured those windows with a device similar to a hammer, authorities say. That's when he used an automatic weapon. He had, we know, 10 weapons in that hotel room with him, firing down on this crowd. We now know 59 people dead as a result of this horrific incident. And police a short time ago said that it wasn't just the 10 weapons they recovered in his hotel. Through multiple searches of his home, they have now found over 18 weapons as well as explosive material in his car that was down here on the Strip with him.
Unbelievable. Chris, thank you so much. We'll get back with you as you learn even more. Thank you for that report.
Valley families who left for a fun weekend of country music returning just happy to be alive. We met just a few of the survivors getting off planes at Sky Harbor this afternoon. Two women were near the front of the stage watching Jason Aldean when they heard the gunshots. They hid between refrigerators in a beer tent before running to the MGM Grand Hotel about a half-mile away. We also saw a woman with a sprained ankle from sprinting to safety and a man hit in the arm with bullet fragments. They come from different parts of the valley, but the one thing they have in common, they're glad it wasn't worse.
Well, time now for your forecast as we take a live look outside. I'm Chief Meteorologist Amber Sellens, and sunshine, cooler air moving in right now. Temperatures have dropped several degrees since yesterday, and as we track them for you now, it's upper 80s to low 90s across the Phoenix metro. So we're actually a little bit below average for this time of year, and tonight we're going to shake these 90s that we're seeing in some valley spots pretty quickly. By 6 p.m., 88 degrees, mid 80s in our later evening forecast here, and overnight we're going down into the 60s once again. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer, near average at 95 degrees, and the temperatures are going to keep climbing from there. We'll talk about how soon we're going to have to deal with some triple digits coming up in just minutes.
And we will also obviously continue to follow the tragedy that is still ongoing in Las Vegas. 59 people dead, more than 500 injured, and new information constantly coming out about the shooter. You're watching The Now, Arizona.
We're live along the Las Vegas Strip in the aftermath of the worst deadly shooting in U.S. history. 59 people now confirmed dead and more than 500 people hurt as this person apparently randomly fired from the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay. Right now, police still processing an enormous crime scene as this entire community comes together to do anything they can to help. We'll have many more updates coming up in just a bit.
Steve, thank you. And as we